so far we've looked at scales, we looked at the rings, we've looked at the octs, which are the octaves. We also have, of course, other things that are available to us. So a follow-on from, say, the scale, and one of the ones that you probably use quite a lot of, will be chords. So let's take my chord, follows in exactly the same way, open the brackets, and call it a chord. As you can see from here, there are lots of different types of chord objects in the library. So there's chord degree, which we'll have a look at as well, chord invert, and chord names. So there are lots of sort of things in it to explore in the library. And when we're doing the chord, again, we have a pitch. Let's say we have C4. And then you have a tonality. So as you can see here, let's just go through all of those. So the chords start all the way up from here with the added fifth. So the use of the plus symbol, you know, is a kind of a augmented if it's used in a particular way, but this means the added fifth. So you can see lots of different ones here with this single quotation mark, and then on top of that you have some named ones with the colon. So M, big M, give us you know, major and so on. Oh, I've lost it. Which give us major and so on. Let me just get this back. There we go. Clicked off. You've got add 11, add 2. You've got a lot of chords to kind of work with. Minor 11, minor add 11. There's a difference. Add 9s, major 9, you know, loads of different ones. Let's try minor 9. There we go. Okay. So that's what we have there. We have a chord, C4, at pitch C4, which is middle C, or MIDI note 60, and the chord type is a minor 9, right? Because it's a chord, let's leave it a bit longer. I'm not going to specify a tick because we just want to hear it playing. And there we go. Let's drop that down an octave to C3. A bit distorted there. Let's try it at G3, a bit higher. At this point, we sort of go, okay, I can play one chord. If we wanted to arpeggiate the chord, then we would use the tick. Right, and if we want it a bit faster, let's say. Let's just change the release. So to arpeggiate it, we use the tick. To hear it, we basically access the whole structure if we want to hear it as a chord. The next sort of thing that you need to look at is being able to take the chord and extend it via sets of pitches. If we want to, we can have, instead of sets of individual variables, you can create a ring of chords, right? So we have ring, and that's chord 1. So the way that this changes this, I mean, if we play this, it will not play anything, right? Because now, because the chord is inside another structure, we need to use a tick to count through what's in the at this level of the structure. So before we used the tick to arpeggiate the chord, but we could do that because the chord was on its own. Now that that chord belongs to a much larger structure, so let's do it this way. Let's say that we have another chord. Let's say that we have a chord of F minor, right? F3, comma, and then we want to have the minor 9. And there it is. Right? So we've got two chords in this ring structure, right? So now we're using a tick, whereas if we don't use the tick, we're not hearing anything because it's just accessing the ring, but we're not telling it what to do with the data items, right? So that's one thing that we can do. So we can then put a sequence of chords into a larger container, the ring. The problem with that is, you know, if we're playing a song, for some parts of a song, or we're trying to arrange something, for some parts of a song, it might be okay for a chord to be heard 5 times, and for another time for the other chord to be only heard 3 times, right? So we have an arrangement problem if we just sort of follow this idea of chords. If you want to make something where it is, you know, lots of differences, there's only 2 here, you know, let's say we had one more. Let's say we have D4, and this one is also the minor 9. If we keep our chords in this kind of container of the ring, this ring does not represent an arrangement. It merely represents a container of some of the things that we want to do. So therefore, in the live loop, we would need to structure it in such a way that we can access each type of chord for the many times that we want it to play. So this is why we have sort of things like, let's say that it's 4 dot times do. And now what's going to happen here, let me just code these bits out here. So in another video, I showed sort of accessing rings via their index number. So this is index 0. So that's 4 times of the G minor. And let's say that we want 2 times of the F minor. So that's 1. Right, so that's 2. And let's say we want 2 times for the D, which is data item 2. I think I'd like it in the next octave. Let's call it D3. Just going to do 2 things. Change this from an A and then change this to a G. So this is something that we can do. I mean, it's a little bit more sort of long-winded, but it's definitely the sort of safe way into doing arrangements. Okay, see you on the next one.